Welcome. Here at Counseling Studio, the therapy or counseling sessions are free. If you have mental health questions, for example, depression, child development, relationships, drug and alcohol questions, or any concerns, type them in the comment section or private message me on Facebook. I left a link in the description of this video. And so during this, when it was happening, did you like say anything or express anything to your parents, your mother or father?
Not to my parents, no, but I used to have this friend who moved to New Zealand, and it was just me and him in school, because even he used to get bullied by the same group of people. So, but it wouldn't be at the same time we would get bullied. So they bullied me first, and then later on, some other time they'd bully him. So, me and him, we were in the same class, and I just, tell him what happened, he'd tell me what happened, and I'd be like, yo, what do we do?
Now the group of friends you had, that were they also being bullied, or
No, I didn't have any friends then. Only had one friend.
one friend? Okay.
So it was just, me and him.
So from fifth to about the start of eighth grade,
Yeah.
you had one main friend that you
Yeah.
talked to or hung out with.
Because, there was, most of the other kids, they were Thai, and, they didn't really speak so much. But then,
So there was a language barrier there
yeah, a little bit.
between the main Thai students and some foreign
Yeah.
students. Okay.
And, me and him, in our free time, we just, we ditch class, we just go to the library and stuff. Or we just go downstairs and, skateboard and stuff. Until we'd get caught and then sent back to our classes again. But yeah, that was...
So at home, your family, you didn't like tell anybody anything about the bullying
No.
and how bad it was getting, and did they ever see like any physical marks? Because you said you were bleeding one
Yeah.
time in the back of your head, and they threw hard objects.
Yeah.
They've done other physical things. They pushed you.
Yeah.
So did your parents see anything like that? Or?
Not really, but there would be times, the tissue thing, it leave your skin a little bruised and stuff. So they'd be like, "Oh, what happened on your arm?" I'd be like, "Oh, my friend accidentally threw the basketball a little too hard and I forgot to catch it." Or I'd be like, "Oh, we were playing football and I was a goalkeeper. I just got hit. It's no big deal." But the bleeding stuff, since it was on the back of the head, you can't really see it. So I just cleaned it up with the tissue, made sure it wasn't bleeding, and just left it back. It did burn well, shampooing.
Why did you feel you didn't want to tell your parents?
Because, if I felt like if I told my parents about it, they'd come to the school, they'd make a big deal about it. And, it was just going to be embarrassing for me to have my parents yelling at the teachers for, something that isn't even the teacher's fault.
Was there any other fears? The reason why you didn't want to tell your parents? Besides
Not
them
really.
going to school, maybe embarrassing you?
No, not really.
No other.
The idea of just, them embarrassing me by talking to the teachers would be like, enough.
And your brothers, you have an older brother,
Yeah.
2 years older. You didn't tell him anything?
No, not really. Even though he was he was 2 years older, so when I was in the primary grade, he was already in the secondary, so we had different timings as well.
Were you in the same school?
Same school.
So you were in the same school?
Yeah. But since he was 2 grades above, he was in the secondary, but I was in the primary still. And so basically, ninth is, no. So primary starts from, I think 7th till 9, and my bullies were like a class ahead of me, so they were still in the primary. But my brother, since he was 2 years older, he was in the secondary, so he was in a completely different batch.
Did you see him at all?
Sometimes, so I try to see him during break time or lunchtime, but primary has their lunch an hour before the secondaries do. So every now and then I just see him in the bathroom. I'd be like, when are we going home or something like that.
During those 3 to almost 4 years, he never told you.
No.
So why? Why do you think?
Because I was like, what is he gonna do, really? Because I didn't think it'd be much help.
So you felt that this was, you had to carry this.
Yeah. It was my fight. I had to take care of it myself.
Okay. Have you ever thought about why you felt you had to carry it alone?
Because I thought, since it's happened to me, it's none of other people's business, to interfere with it.
Which
And I was, thinking that magically someday I'd wake up and it just solve itself out.
And it did, though.
Apparently.
But after almost 4
Yeah.
years, that's a lot as a kid to endure. And for you to alone,
After a while, it became like routine, I guess. That's how it was.
see, did you ever feel like numb to it, or did you ever feel like excitement because this was going to happen, or
No, I
No.
felt numb, basically. I was like, it's gonna happen again. What am I gonna do about it?
now the reason why you didn't talk, I understand about your parents.
Yeah.
I understand one reason why. I understand a reason why for your older brother, a few reasons. And I'm sure there may be more. But at this point, this is what you're able to express to me.
Yeah.
Is there any other reason why, at such a young age, you would want to just be quiet about this? Can you try to dig a little bit more and see if anything comes up?
So
Why?
back then, I wasn't, a big fan of, causing too much drama, I guess, just keeping quiet, keeping to myself. But now I couldn't care much. But back then I was like, if I stayed quiet about it, just trying to make myself seem as small as possible.
Small.
As small. Even though physically I wanted to get bigger, but mentally just, be completely detached away from them. Maybe then it would help. So me doing my own thing and them doing their own thing.
So in a way, did you want to escape?
Yes.
That's a lot
Yeah.
for a child to go through.
I think I was like 10,
Yeah.
10, 11, something like
10, 11, 12, right before puberty,
that. Yeah.
possibly right before puberty.
I feel like the puberty part helped with the weight loss as well.
Help with weight loss?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Okay, now, let's start getting into, now those are some relationships with peers.
Yeah.
Now let's start going into the relationship with the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about how that blossomed, how that started, like
Right.
you're like blossoming to like start having relationships with the opposite sex.
So when I was a kid, I used to have crushes back in school as well, even when I was getting bullied. But never really, appealed to them, I guess.
You never. You're
Yeah.
saying you never. Okay.
Because, like, well, I was fat, I was overweight. Not the best sight to see, So, naturally, I'd like a girl, I'd try to talk to her, I'd try to ask her out, but, I'd get rejected. And I'd be a little heartbroken about it, but it wasn't, that big of a deal. Until, when I lost all the weight and stuff, and, I was planning to go to Pakistan actually to study abroad, but COVID happened around that time. So I was just in my room, still doing push-ups, still, working out, losing all the weight. Until 2020. So I think around August maybe. No, June. Yeah, June. I started hanging out more. That's when I met, my ex as well, more often. And
What grade were you in there?
I was, I think, 9th grade. by
Ninth
then.
grade. Okay.
9th grade. So, and then the initial reaction that I got, because I've known her for many years.
So how many years before did you know her?
I've known her for around 8 years now.
I mean, before the initial ninth grade. Like, how long did you
Oh,
know her
from
before
there,
that? Yes.
I think 2 years.
2 years before. So eighth and seventh. So did she happen to?
No, she wasn't in the same school as me.
Different school.
Different school.
Okay.
So, but she lived in the same apartment condo as I did. So, when I first saw her after, I lost all that weight, she was like, "You lost so much weight. You look good." I remember that. And then, we started hanging out more, we started talking, a little bit, here and there. And then, this one time I went to patio, and then I came back and I was like, I'm gonna ask her out. And I asked her out. Well, since we were, very young, that relationship lasted for like 2 days.
2 days.
And, she was so stressed about school, my exams, and I was like, okay. And then, fast forward to 2023, a few months ago.
So all during that time, were you still in any type of contact with her?
I was still friends with her, but then I was in other relationships with other females and stuff, which didn't last that long. But some did. They were pretty lengthy relationships. And then I was like, then I started hanging out with her more again this year.
So fast forward up to the 3 years.
Yeah.
You were still in contact with her. You still seen her sometimes.
Yeah.
Hung out. And then 3 years comes to, and then now something starts.
Yeah. So after 3 years, I'm like, I'm more mature now. We're more grown up. So I started talking to her again. And, we started hanging out more. And so I think I asked her out again, but then she was like, "Oh, yeah, I don't think it'll work out." Blah blah blah. And then I was like, "All right, you know what? I have other things to work on right now, so I'm not gonna talk to her that much." So I stopped talking to her for a little bit. I had to work on that event that I had this year, and then I even texted her. I'm like, "Yo, I want you to come to the event," And then she came, and I felt like the perception she had of me before was much different to the perception she had afterwards. Because before the event, I don't know what she saw me as, but after the event, she was like, "How does Alia know all these girls, and stuff?" Like, as if there was some sort of jealousy there, So, after that, we started talking more again, and then, things escalated as well.
How much time passed before it escalated?
Like a week, maybe.
A week. So a week after she saw that.
Yeah.
Before that, you were friends. How often did you hang out? How often she
We
went to
still-
a different school?
Yeah.
So how often did maybe, just give me some examples of how often you maybe went to the mall together,
Yeah.
or hung out, or talked on the phone, or
Yeah.
messaged?
So, before I stopped talking to her, we meet up every other day. We text almost every day. And since she lives in the same place as my friends live, so I'd go there almost every day to meet with my friends anyways. So I meet her there as well sometimes. But then I was like, I have other things to worry about right now, so I stopped texting her. I felt like in some way that she missed that type of attention. But even then, I was still busy. I was doing my thing. And then,
Why do you think maybe she missed that, like the almost everyday attention or seeing you around? Why do you think?
Because then she started texting me first. And then, plus it's human nature as well. That's one thing I've learned.
Human nature.
As
Tell me
in,
more.
once you're giving someone so much attention, they get used to it, right? And then all of a sudden, when you just withdraw all of that, they're like, well, what's going on? Why isn't he texting me? Why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he doing that? And then opposite roles happen, from you chasing her to her chasing you. That's one thing I've learned this year. And then, after the event,
And your event was. Tell me about the event a little.
the event, oh my God. So the preparation to the event was 4 months. It took me 4 months to prepare for that.
And this event was
A boxing event.
A boxing event.
Charity boxing.
A charity boxing event. Okay.
Yeah, so we had around 400 people show up.
400 people show up.
Yeah.
Okay.
400 people and around 19 fights.
19 fights.
2 MMA fights and the rest were boxing fights.
Okay.
And we made around 6 figures in profit that we donated to charity as well in Palestine. And yeah, that was one of the biggest events that I've ever done. One of the biggest things I've done this year. And my dad was there too. He was really happy about that as well. He was really proud of it. And it really elevated, social status and who I am as a person as well.
And why do you say that?
Because now people know me as the guy who does these events. I'm getting text messages from other people. So there's other group of people who are doing this other type of party event. I'm getting text messages from people like, oh, are you the one behind this? I'm like, no, it's not me.
And you're saying no because
I don't want to take credit for something that doesn't belong to me.
it doesn't belong to you. But you put on
No, like other events.
Oh, other.
So it's
Oh,
if there's another event
okay,
going on,
okay.
people would text me like, yo, is this yours?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's not mine. This one's mine. And then, yeah, that was that. But yeah, it was really fun as well. By the end of the event, I had so many people coming up to me like, yo, when's the third event, bro? When's the third event? And I'd be like, bro, give me a break. I need a little break. Because 4 months, it's a lot.
4 months of planning.
And preparing headaches. We nearly didn't even have an event 2 weeks before the actual event itself. We ended up losing our venue for 2 days because we had some, problems with the venue. But we got that back, and the show continued. I was like, it was so stressful. But yeah.
So after the event, she starts seeing. She sees the event.
Yeah.
She's there. She attends.
Yes, she's there.
So she attends. She sees the event. She sees all. She sees the after. What happened? She sees the event, and then something changes because of the event. As you can see it, as you can see it, the event created a change in the
Emotions.
in her emotions towards you.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, because I talked to a friend before I talked to her, and she was like, bro, you don't know what the things she was saying about you. She said you look really good in that suit that you were wearing, blah, blah. And she was like telling me how proud she was of you because the entire event, this was all you, this was all Alian. I was like, okay. And from there, and the reason that friend texted me in the first place was because that same day, I put up a story of me and this other girl that were hanging out after the event because she had to leave early.
So you just left early.
Yeah, I wanted her to be there for, you know, we were gonna go out, we were gonna get some food, but then, you know, they had to leave, and I was like, okay. And so I was hanging out with the other friend. I put up a story and stuff, and
The story where?
on Instagram.
On Instagram, okay.
And her friend texted me, was like, did you guys, you know, make out by any chance? I'm like, no.
So she's asking you.
Her friend is asking me.
Her friend is asking. Now, do you think
Yeah,
she's asking for?
yeah, I think so. And I was like, no, what? We were just hanging out, we're just friends. And she was like, oh, okay, but this is what she was saying about you. And I was like, oh, shoot, it was really cool. And then from there on as well, like, you know, there was a change of emotions as well. And, you know, whenever
Can you did you pick up? Can you describe any of them? The emotions that changed.
So one thing is that whenever I go to meet up with her over there, like whenever I go see my friends and I'm like, yo, do you want to hang out? And she'd be like, oh no, I'm, you know, sleepy, I'm lazy, I don't want to come down. And after the event, I'd be like, yo, I'm coming at this time. She's like, okay, I'll see you there. So I was like, okay, it's a big change. So
Did she did she show any emotional like physical gestures,
Yes.
maybe the body contact
Yeah.
between you two? Did it become closer?
Yes.
Like the way she looked at you?
yeah. I remember exactly where or when, but you know, we started sitting next to each other, much close. And then I was like, you know what? I just, you know, put my hand on her thigh, and I was like, you know. And then from there, we'd meet up alone as well sometime. I bought her a necklace. She was like, oh, this is so sweet. But she broke it. She broke it. This thing.
How soon after you bought it?
Oh no, it was already like the clip, right? It was already messed up. So she was like, "Oh, it broke." I was like, "All right, I'll get you a new one." And then from there, you know, it's holding hands and stuff to, you know, cuddling up and stuff. From there,
And then okay, so you start to become closer.
yeah,
The emotions start to change, start to evolve. Then there comes a point where, when does a relationship start?
there wasn't really like an initial like starting. And we didn't like, oh, you know, let's make it official. Nothing. But all I knew is that, you know, what me and her had was like something between just me and her. It was exclusive.
So
So
what made you? Tell me more why it made you.
because
like-
the physical gestures and all that, you know, because of what she'd hold my hand and stuff, and I'd go see her. And just, you know,
And she started.
Yeah.
Whenever you would say you wanted to meet her,
Yeah.
right away there was a
yes.
yes.
Unless her mom said no.
Okay.
But yeah,
So the relation. So there was a unspoken
yeah,
agreement of
yeah,
exclusivity
Yeah.
for where we're going to take a
Yeah.
journey together.
Yeah.
We're going to take an emotional
something like that.
relationship. We're going to take some type of journey together and be focused on each other. Okay. Now, take me. Okay, now start taking me towards the relationship ending, or the relationship ending.
Relationship. So I felt like she was a little, you know, she was the type of person to, you know, overthink things a little bit, like, oh, what if it doesn't work out, blah, blah. And like the
And
entire.
what made you believe that? I know you gave me an example earlier when you were first
Yeah.
younger and you were friends and you were doing,
Yeah.
but tell me, now you're more mature.
Yeah.
Tell me, or possibly more mature. Tell me, Just tell me more. Tell me more about that.
So, like, you know how there's always been, from the beginning, there was always an uncertainty with her, like, you know, like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? But the entirety of that time that we spent together, she wasn't really focused on that. But she did have a few friends that were like, you know, telling her like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? And I'd be like, you know, tell those friends to shut up, you know. But even then,
Was she
listening
was
to
she
it,
more focused, spending time with you, and not as much with them, or was it balance? Was kind of evenly spread out, like her attention towards?
I
you
feel like
and
it was evenly spread out.
evenly
But
spread out
I think she
between her
was-
friends and you.
Yeah, because she goes to university with her friends, and you know I'd see her after she's done with university. So but I felt like there was always that uncertainty there. But I felt like she chose to ignore it, And then this one time, so she came over here to my place, and we were just hanging out and stuff. And my mom comes up and she sees what's going on, and my mom's like, "What's going on here?" And I'm like, "Uh oh."
And what
And
was
then-
what was going on? Like, what you,
So we were cuddling a little bit, and then my mom comes up, but she doesn't see me, and I was like, "Fuck." I was like, "Oh shit, my mom's here." So then I hid behind the couch, and I was like, "Wait, why am I hiding? If she's gonna come in, she's gonna come in anyway." So then I was like, "You know what? Might as well just accept it."
and were you? So you were just cuddling, but
Yes.
was there any type of like clothes being removed, or was
No.
this, you were fully clothed,
Yes.
cuddling, just being affectionate with
Yeah,
each
just
other?
affection. That's
And-
it.
Okay.
So I was like, we'll just deal with it, because nothing bad was going on. So then she came, she's like, "What is going on here?" So I was like, "You know what? I'll explain it to you later. Let me go drop her off downstairs."
And this is what you said to your mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I go drop her off downstairs. I could tell she's panicking a lot. She likes to hide her, she likes to hide in humor. That's her.
Her emotions. She
Yeah.
tries to hide her humor, or her emotions in humor.
Yes. So then, I could tell, she was panicking. And, she goes home. I talked to my mom, like, it's nothing happening, I'm like, just don't worry about it. She told me that she didn't have a problem with it. She was like, "You should have just at least told me that someone was coming." And I was like, "So you're not mad?" She's like, "No." And she told my dad about it, right? She was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And my dad starts laughing about it. And I was like, "Okay, it's not that big of a deal." And then my mom had to go out anyways. And then I called her, I'm like, "Yo, are you okay? Like, you're panicking." So she's like, "Yeah, I'm okay. You tell me what happened." I was like, "Nothing happened." Well, my parents were completely fine with it. And then she starts fucking reacting. She's like,
The girl. She
Yeah.
starts reacting. So you told her about,
"Yeah,
or well, she had a sense of something because she had to go downstairs, and
Yeah,
your
yeah.
mom walks in.
Yeah.
So she knows
Yeah,
something's
Something.
kind of,
yeah, iffy."
yeah. Okay, so then she calls you, or you call
I
her?
call her.
You call her?
Because she told me to call her, after I talked to my mom.
Okay.
And then I call him, like, "Yo, everything's fine." And she starts panicking again. She's like, "Oh no, this is like, this is." She starts overthinking, and she's like, "Oh, this is a sign. This shouldn't be happening." I'm like, okay. By then, I was a little, fed up about it because it's very on and off with her. So I was like, "Just do whatever you want." And then,
So you've seen this from your
Yeah.
friendship and prior relationship. This
yeah,
kind of her.
up and down. Type.
Okay.
So then I was like, "I'll just come over there for now, for a little bit, and we'll talk about it." And she's like, she tells me, "Oh, she doesn't want to continue anymore." I'm like, "Yeah, it's completely fine."
So she says continue anymore. Continue what?
The relationship.
The unspoken
Yes.
relationship. Okay, so right there, she tells you there is a type of relationship. She wants to end it right there.
Yeah.
tell me, what do you think? Why? What are
I
the
think she got scared.
scared?
Yeah.
Is that all?
Because like the fright of parents finding out. Because even she has pretty strict parents.
And her ancestry, her culture is.
She's Indian. So that doesn't mix either. Pakistani and
Mm.
Indian.
Okay. We don't have to get into
Yeah.
why.
That's a political debate.
Okay. So.
So then she was like, it's better to just end it. I'm
Mhm.
like, so I've gone through it so many times already. So I was like, I just do whatever you want at this point. Because I was a little pissed. I was like,
Why were you
it's
upset?
completely fine. Nothing bad has happened.
Mhm.
But if you're gonna be scared, I'm not gonna force you into something that you don't want to continue anymore.
So, from your family culture
Yeah.
and what was expressed to you, there was no type of issue raised about what your
Yeah.
mom, she's coming in and
Yeah.
walked in, so everything was okay, the same type of
Yeah.
home vibe, everything,
Yeah.
nothing really like altered the energy in the
Yeah.
home. But for her, she thinks something has.
Yeah.
And you think she's scared
Okay.
of she's scared of like seeing your parents again. Is she scared of that, or what is she scared of? What do you
I think that
because scared is so there's so many
there's
things
so
you can
many-
be scared, like try to
yeah.
can you narrow it a little more?
I feel like her having to see my parents again, it was a little scary to her, and I feel like that was the reason, and nothing more to it.
So maybe feeling ashamed a little
I think
of
so, maybe.
your mother walking in and
Yeah.
seeing her
Yeah.
kind of in a
No, but when my mom walked in, nothing was going on. That's
Yeah.
why, But even then, that still stuck to her.
But at that moment, there is a lot of emotions or a lot of things going on.
Yeah. So
Okay.
from there, she was like, it's better if you don't continue. I was like, alright, that's fine.
I think let's